What is up, guys, and welcome back to my Lorethrough series. Last time we visited the Round Table Hold and talked to the NPCs there. Now it's time to explore Limgrave so we can find useful items and level up and take on Margit. Let's start by visiting our friend Merchant Kale once again, since he sells 2 useful notes that can tell us where we can find good items. One of the notes talks about a flask of wondrous physic that we can find in the Third Church of Marika. It also tells us how to get there. We are to cross the highway bridge from the gatefront side of Grace and then follow an animal trail north, and then we reach it. On our way towards this highway bridge, we come across a war monument from the Shattering that lets us know a bit more about our distant goal, Godric the Grafted. Calls him Godric the Golden and suggests that he was not the strongest demigod, having not just been defeated but outright humiliated by the Blade of Miquella, begging for mercy instead of dying like a man. Perhaps that is why he started grafting people, because he didn't feel strong enough on his own? Regardless, we carry on east when suddenly we hear someone crying for help.
You there? Could you help us out, Cully? You?
After figuring out the noise is coming from this weird looking bush, we hit it and demi-human Bok is revealed.
Oh, yes. I remember. Some clod turned me into a tree. You were just breaking the spell, weren't you? Thank you. The name's Bok. I was pushed out of the cave. Told not to come back. Not ever. Then I ended up as a tree. Lucky you came along, really. Oh, what a shame. When they threw me out of the cave, they took everything I owned, and so this is all I have to express my thanks. I hope you can forgive me. Or, well, if you can afford to wait for a while, I could sneak back into the cave and bring back something of actual value. Then I'd be of some real use to you, I reckon. Right, but I'll need a moment. I'm frightened of them, so I have to gather myself. My knees start knocking, just thinking about that god-awful cave on the shore.
He thanks us for breaking the spell that turned him into a tree and gives us a couple of mushrooms. He says he was thrown out of the demi-human cave on the shore and all his belongings are still there, so he promises a better reward once he sneaks something out of that cave. However, once we visit this cave, we find Bok in pain, having been beaten up by the other demi-humans, not being able to get anything out of the cave, and warns us to not go into the cave.
Oh, what are you doing here? You must leave this place at once. They'll rush in and beat you to a pulp. You'll end up just like me.
Naturally, wanting to help this poor demi-human, we do not follow his advice, and instead fight our way through the demi-humans. The boss, or rather bosses, the demi-human chiefs, are an absolute gankfest. As such, this is the perfect time to test spirit summons if you haven't tested them on Margit before. Once you kill both the demi-human chiefs, all the smaller ones will lose hope and cower in fear, ceasing to attack us. Also, we get Bok's sewing needle and tailoring tools as a reward. Once we give him his sewing needle back, he is in awe. Probably nobody else has ever done something this nice for him in the Lands Between, apart from his sweet old mom. What a heartwarming scene.
Oh. Wait. Is that that what I think it is? You got it back for me. My sewing needle. What made you go and do a thing like that? My mum was a seamstress, and that sewing kit was all I had to remember her by. I always wanted to be just like sweet old mum. Then I suppose I can't just curl up and die, can I?
This concludes his quest line for now, and we're gonna go back on the road. After crossing the highway bridge, right at the intersection where the animal trail goes north, we find the waypoint ruins. The other note merchant Calais sold us said something about somebody we can meet there, so let's see who's inside. First of all, we find this hilariously named Mad Pumpkinhead. Once he is defeated, we can continue to find sorceress Selen behind this small gate. She teaches glintstone sorceries, which is not really interesting for my dumbass character, but if you have some intelligence in your build, this NPC is absolutely essential.
Tarnished, are we? I wonder you should turn up here. I am Selen, a sorcerer, quite plainly. Why are you here? Ah, a yen for glintstone sorceries. I dare say your proclivities are far from ideal. Oh well, perhaps nurture will defy nature, with a bit of luck. But one must choose one's masters wisely. I was exiled from the Academy of Rea Lucaria as a reviled, apostate witch. Do you still wish to learn from me? Well, you are a piece of work. Very well. You are now my protege in glintstone sorcery. But I refuse to coddle or cast kind words. Never. Anticipate grievances, young apprentice.
After Selen takes note of how stupid my character is, she tells us she was exiled from Rea Lucaria Academy for being a reviled apostate witch. Perhaps we will find out at some point what her transgressions were. For now, she's just a sorcery teacher. Following the animal trail north, on our way to the Third Church of Marika, we meet Kenneth Haidt, who we will talk about on the next video. Staying on the animal trail, we arrive at the Third Church of Marika. There we find a sacred tear which we can upgrade our flasks with, as well as the Flask of Wondrous Physic that we were looking for. This is a special flask where 2 crystal tears that can be found at minor trees can be mixed together to give additional healing or buffs to the player for important encounters. When resting at the site of graves of the church, Melina can relay a message of Queen Marika to us, which was spoken here long ago. They were the words spoken to Lord Godfrey and the first Tarnished when Queen Marika divested them of their grace and banished them from the lands between.
Spoken echoes linger here, words of Queen Marika, who vanished long ago. If you wish, I will share them with you. Very well. In Marika's own words, my lord, and thy warriors, I divest each of thee of thy grace. With thine eyes dimmed, ye will be driven from the lands between. Ye will wage war in a land afar, where ye will live and die. Well, perhaps that might serve you in lieu of a maiden's guidance.
More context to this dialogue is given at this sword monument at the northeast point of Limgrave. It seems the Tarnished were once soldiers of Queen Marika's first consort, Lord Godfrey. But once Godfrey's last worthy foe fell, he, along with us Tarnished, was no longer useful, and we were divested of grace. So today, we learned a little extra context on the origin story of the Tarnished and found the Flask of Wondrous Physic. On the next video, we will see Kenneth Haidt and venture into the Mistwood. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing, or let me know what I could do to improve these videos. See you next time!